Today we have Mr. Lyndall Locke.
That's me.
Ex-boyfriend of the megastar Miss Beyonce Knowles.
Chef owner of 90 Pine Catering.
Chef owner of 90 Pine Catering.
He act like this dude like that's all I am. I'm just
That's not it.
That's it. Just ex-boyfriend. Beyonce's ex-boyfriend. That's what you got.
Ain't nothing like seeing your ex on TV several times a day. You're definitely going to throw a roller coaster of emotions. And that's exactly what's happening with Beyonce's ex, Lyndall Locke. See, before Jay-Z and Beyoncé's love story would go from crazy in love to drunk in love to getting married to facing infidelity and having Blue and the twins, Lyndall Locke was once the apple of Beyoncé's eye. And baby, ever since that breakup, Lyndall has been going on and on and on and on about how Beyoncé switched up on him. But here's where it gets interesting. See, Lyndall has always looked like the bitter ex, the desperate one, the one who fumbled the best thing that could have ever happened to him. But what if I told you that all this was calculated, and that Beyoncé is the one who carefully orchestrated that narrative to make her look innocent? I mean, from her point of view, Lyndall was the serial cheater, and the one who first broke her heart when she was merely a good Christian on a celibacy journey. But we know that we've heard stories about how Bey was fast, and how she was always sleeping around with both men and women. Not my words, guys, not my words.
And she was trained at the esteemed Berklee College of Music. Handpicked by my very good friend, Terry Lynn Carrington, Dr. Terry Lynn Carrington, who put together Beyonce's entire female band, which was Matthew Knowles' idea because he couldn't get Beyonce to stop people. Guess you didn't know your daughter well enough because she just started all the girls.
So think about it. What if Lyndall was the fall guy for Beyoncé's dark past? What if they used him to try and clean her image so she could always be remembered as perfect? Well, guess what? Word on the street is that this time, Lyndall is digging up all the dirt because he's tired of being the fall guy. And allegedly, the things he's been spilling about Beyoncé are beyond what we could ever imagine. To be clear, Beyoncé hasn't said much about this past relationship with Lyndall, and one of the only times she talked about the relationship was when she told The Telegraph in 2008, people would be surprised as to the lack of experiences I've had. When I was 12, 13, I had my first boyfriend, and he was my boyfriend till I was 17. At that age, that was a long time. I've always been very loyal and a little more mature. Though I was too young for it to really be a boyfriend. We didn't live together. We didn't, that was my only experience with a guy. And since then, I've only had one other boyfriend in my life, Jay. That's Beyoncé. But Lyndall, on the other hand, boy, he's been talking about Beyoncé ever since they broke up. First of all, according to his 2013 account of their relationship, the two met through Kelly Rowland in their youth church group and dated for 9 years. And he told The Sun about the first time he saw her, saying, "From the first time I saw Beyoncé, I couldn't take my eyes off of her. She looked like an angel, the most beautiful person I'd ever seen. She would say to me all the time, 'I'm afraid to ever live my life without you, Lyndall. I want you to be mine forever.'" Lyndall even described their first kiss, saying that it was just after Beyoncé's 15th birthday, and he surprised her with Brian McKnight concert tickets, and it happened that night. He had got popcorn, and as they were sitting in their seats, he dropped it. Then, as they both went down to grab it, they bumped heads and locked into their first kiss. According to what Lyndall said, they both just looked at each other, realizing there was this incredible spark of fireworks between them, and that was the first feeling of true love between them. Apparently, still to this day, he has never had another kiss as passionate as that one. I don't know how his other partners feel hearing him say such things. Imagine being in a relationship with someone and all he ever says is how he fumbled Beyoncé. Anywho, in this same interview is where Lyndall also dropped a couple of bombshells about Beyoncé claiming that their relationship started facing challenges when Beyoncé's career with Destiny's Child kicked off. Lyndall said that immediately after their first single, she became a workaholic and started focusing all of her energy on her career. Then he said that on top of being booked and busy, Bey remained committed to her devout Christianity by maintaining celibacy in her relationship. Apparently, as much as he respected her decisions, he felt that he wasn't enough for Beyoncé, leading him to be unfaithful to Bey. Based on what he said, one night, when she was out of town, he went to a bar with friends and ended up sleeping with another woman. And over the course of a few years, he cheated on her about 5 times. But he never told her until after they broke up. As for when exactly they broke up, it was in 2000, and shortly after, Beyoncé met Jay-Z at MTV's Spring Break in Cancun. Of course, she started dating Jay not long after that, and and Lyndall already knew he had no chance. He even said, "Once she began dating Jay-Z, I knew we were doomed, and I could never win her back. But I know that no matter what, she will always love me. I will always wonder what if, and given all we shared, I'm sure a part of her must feel the same way." Oof, that must have hurt. And in Beyoncé's own words, "I bet it sucks to be you right now." Well, let's just say that over the years, Lyndall has had quite a bit to say about Beyoncé. And one of the things he's always said is that Beyoncé was always obsessed with fame and would do anything to achieve it, even at such a young age. Lyndall even once described her as a 12-year-old wannabe who has always been fixated on the pursuit of fame. According to Lyndall, Beyoncé has always worked extra hard to maintain a picture-perfect image. And he even once shared a story of an incident where Beyoncé fled the scene of a small car accident because she feared it would be bad for her image, even though she was years away from becoming famous. Apparently, he even once said to her, "I wish we could have a normal life." And Beyoncé's response was, "I don't want a normal life. I've been waiting for this since I was a kid." Actually, according to Lyndall, Beyoncé was already a control freak by the time she was 12. But there's more, guys. Based on what I have heard, allegedly, that entire story about Beyoncé only having one boyfriend before Jay-Z was orchestrated by her parents and Beyoncé herself so that she could always look like she was always perfect. However, according to people who were around back in the day, and allegedly, even Lyndall, Bey was fast. I mean, first of all, we had someone like Jaguar Wright claiming that Beyoncé's father fired all the men that were working for her because she was intimate with them. And when he hired an all-female band thinking that Beyoncé would stop, according to Jaguar, Beyoncé ended up having a thing with all the females. And honey, let me not even begin with that rabbit hole about the females Bey allegedly had a thing with, cuz there have been multiple allegations in an attempt to prove this. Now, allegedly, this is just one of the things that Beyoncé and her parents worked hard to erase from the internet. But guess who supposedly has all the tea on this? Yep, Lyndall Locke. Anywho, in addition, there were also rumors that Beyoncé and Mos Def were having a thing at some point. Neither Beyoncé nor Mos Def have ever publicly confirmed a romantic relationship, and their public interactions and documented collaborations are primarily within the scope of their professional work. But there were whispers back in the day suggesting a romantic involvement between them. In fact, we even had Cypher Sounds recounting an experience where he spent a weekend with Destiny's Child early in Beyoncé's career, before she had achieved her current level of superstardom. Cypher Sounds initially admitted to not being particularly impressed by Beyoncé, whom he perceived as a pop singer, but ultimately found her to be mad cool. But then, while recounting that experience, he specifically said that he remembered that Bey and Mos were definitely messing around.
I DJ'd for Mos Def, and we went over to London for some shows, and Destiny's Child was performing there. And I don't know if you know this, and don't tell anybody if you don't, but Mos Def kind of used to mess with Beyonce.
In fact, Cypher Sounds also stated that he later began working for Pharrell, and that Beyoncé and Pharrell fooled around a little bit, though he clarified they didn't go all the way. However, he did say that Pharrell reportedly commented on Beyoncé's very soft behind. Y'all also know that there have always been rumors that there's a tape out there of Beyoncé and Pimp C from back in the day.
There was a famous R&B chick, and it was a guy that was getting money at the time. And, you know, Pimp, he used to be in the studio. And every now and then he'd have a camcorder, so he was able to get some footage. And he wanted to do something with the footage, but I don't know why he didn't do nothing with it, but if I could have got a hold of that tape, I'd be a billionaire, man. Hey, whoever it was, they had to kill me, man. I know TMZ would have paid a bank for that one, man. But yeah, it is a tape, and if you read the comments, a lot of people figured out. Okay. A lot of people figured out because, you know, people that was in Houston at the time, they know who was a little loose.
Allegedly, Pimp C wanted to expose the tape, and because of this, he died mysteriously. See, on the morning of December 4th, 2007, he was scheduled to fly back home, where his wife, who he had married when he was in prison in 2003, was waiting with his cousin at the airport to pick him up. After not hearing from him the morning of the scheduled flight, his wife called the hotel and requested that they check on him. That is when the hotel staff discovered him unresponsive in his hotel room, where paramedics pronounced him dead shortly after. At the time, the coroner's report ruled that his death was accidental, attributing it to the effects of his heavy usage of lean, in conjunction with his pre-existing condition of sleep apnea. However, his death never made sense, and there were rumors that it had something to do with that tape and a fallout with Jay-Z.
Meeting to go meet with Dame Dad. So we go after I leave Jive, I go to the Rock. As soon as I sit down there, Dame Dash opened up his checkbook, cut a check for $1 million. I'm like, whoa. He like, I was like, is this for sure? He was like, nah. He said, we want to use UGK. I was like, what? He's like, we want to with your boys.
That's right.
So I immediately picked up the phone and called Pimp C. Because all I was trying to get was 100,000. When Dame cut that $1 million, I called Pimp on the phone like, yo, Pimp. And him and Jamal was in the house. And I could hear a tussle or some type of confrontation, right? And I'm like, calm down, bro. Y'all calm down, Pimp.
I ran up the cable bill.
They was fighting. They was fighting like hard. And I'm like, Pimp, stop whatever you doing right now. I told you what's going down with Jamal when you moved him up in there. I said, but right now, I got $1 million check for you. All we wanted was 100,000. I was just like, who is that with? I said, with Rockefeller. He was like, what? I was like, yeah. He was like, I'm watching Dan with the checkbook. He writing it out. He was like, ain't that with, over there with Jay-Z? I was like, yeah. He was like, man, tell him to take that check and go give it to Tupac Mama, man.
I don't know if the tape is real or not, but what I can tell you is that people have talked a lot about how Beyoncé moved back in the day. So it's possible that all this talk about her just having one boyfriend before Jay-Z and being this super perfect, clean person is total BS and an attempt by her to erase her dark past. Not on Lyndall's watch, though. Apparently, after all the backlash he's been receiving, he's like, maybe I should just tell the truth and keep it moving. Okay, I must admit that it's a bit fishy that everyone recently has something to say about Beyoncé's past after literally just being confirmed as a billionaire. It's giving, they want Beyoncé to buy their silence. But we also cannot deny that there may be some truth to all these things being said. Now, about whether Lyndall is being genuine or not, I'ma leave that to you. Let me know what you think in the comments section below.